who owns the review? Who owns the performance review? The key here is that both parties understand and take ownership for it. The best way I can probably describe it to you is like going to your doctor. When you go and see your doctor, there's something wrong with you. You don't feel well. You go and see the doctor and you want the doctor to look at you and be able to give you some advice and feedback. At the end of the day, yes, the doctor has to take ownership for looking at your issues, looking at the problem, trying to give you a diagnosis and trying to help you. But you have to take ownership for your illness or lack of health or whatever it is. So it's both sides have a role to play. And that's the point that I like to get across with regard to performance reviews. Who owns this review? Because if it's one side owning it, if the doctor owns your problem and says, wow, this is your problem and everything else, and you go, yeah, and go home and do nothing about it, then it becomes a waste of time. Equally, if you're trying to take ownership for it, but the doctor is just not treating it seriously, not asking you the right questions, not drawing out of you what the possible problems are, then the thing is going to fail. And the same is going to apply in a performance review. The ownership needs to be on both sides. Both sides have a role to play. If this is going to be successful, if this is going to achieve some form of result, if this is going to be endearing and useful and part of the relationship, and the business itself is going to benefit from it, then both have to take some ownership for the role. So the question I'll be asking you at this stage is two things. One, what are you doing about taking ownership for yourself? Because if you treat this like, oh, I just have to do this, wish I didn't have to do this, a waste of my time, then your approach to it is going to be that. Your body language is going to say that, the style you do, the effort you put into it, it's going to come over that way. Number two, what are you doing about engaging the person? Because equally, if the person's coming into the performance review with this again, oh, that time of the year, then it's not going to be effective either. And you can be brilliant, but it's still not going to be effective. So what are you doing about taking that ownership on both sides of it, engendering it in the other side and doing it for yourself? So get into your mindset. If this is, and the way I like to express it to people is, if this performance review says everything about the type of leader I am, then what do I need to do to make it look the best it can be? Think about that question. It's an important question, okay, because it helps you get into the mindset with the individuals, really thinking about what am I going to do with this that I can be the best I can be in my side of it. So that's what I mean when I was referring to who owns the review. Give it some thought and think also then about what you're going to do with them, and we'll cover that in some of the other sessions I'm going to do. I hope this has been helpful. See you in a while.